Hey everybody, Blugoblin here with Shelly, and I'm here to deliver a comic book review for this week of April 2014. I want to thank you for joining me. Say hi to everybody, Shelly. Say hi. Say hi. She don't care. She just wants me to hold her. Well, I'm going to have to put you down here in a minute and review some comic books. Is that okay? Is that okay? Yeah, I'm sure it's okay with you, little brat. But I got 2 DCs and all the rest are Marvel. I don't have any indies this week. And I promise, as soon as I get done with this... Okay, you ready to go now? Alright, go on. Go on, get out of here. As soon as I get done with this, I'm going to start doing some videos for Dark Avenger Inc. Plus and my Blugoblin X channel. And right now, as I am filming this, I am uploading the newest video to Arkham Asylum Studio, in which my girlfriend and I play with some action figures and pay tribute to the late great Ultimate Warrior. And let's go ahead and get to the books, shall we? We're going to start with DC. We only got 2 DCs here. We're going to start off with Batgirl number 30. Marguerite Bennett and Robert Gill. You'll notice the first problem, no Gail Simone. And it really makes the book suffer because Bennett's style of writing differs a lot from Gail Simone's. It's like Gail knew how to tell us the story with not just her writing, but with how she wanted, but how she wrote the script, on how she wanted the artist to capture, to help tell her storytelling. You know, that's just how I feel. And in this issue is a bit heavy on the dialogue, particularly Barbara talking to herself. All those thought boxes, there's like a million of them on each page, and it really makes reading the book tedious. However, this book wasn't actually that bad. I know a lot of people probably skipped on this issue. My friend Samantha on Tumblr, she said she deliberately skipped out on this issue because Gail didn't write it. I can understand that. When you're used to a particular writer writing the series for so long, it's kind of hard to see anybody else write it. A good example is Brian Q. Miller's run on Batgirl with Stephanie Brown. That was a good run. And that's who I think should be writing this, if not Gail Simone. That's Brian Q. Miller. I really think he could do a better job than Miss Bennett could. But this is a story about the Midnight Man, and it's a bunch of stupid teenagers conjuring up an old wives' tale that would supposedly bring out this creature and everything, and it just goes to shit. And basically, Batgirl becomes aware of it, and she helps the kids out. That's pretty much all this was, with a bit of a ooh kind of ending that I really don't think is going to go anywhere unless they decide to bring this character back. I don't know. But all in all, this book was pretty much average at best. Too much thought boxes, and it just didn't hit me as hard as it would if Gail was writing it. Call me a spoiled brat. Moving on to Green Lantern Corps number 30. Death Walks Among the Lanterns. I gotta say, Van Jensen does a nice job with the writing. This was actually better than I thought it was going to be. Long story short, with this issue, all of this is the Durlan, who is a member of the Green Lanterns, helps the Corps find the hidden Durlans who are hiding out on Mogo. And it's very well done. You know, Mogo smokes them out, and the Lanterns take them down. Very good teamwork between Lanterns and a living planet. Thought it was really nicely done. There is some animosity between some members of the Corps, whether or not they should trust the Durlan that's on their team. You know, but this story is getting really, really good, and the cliffhanger-ish ending to this issue was a bit of a whoa kind of ending, and it's gonna lead to the next big story for the Green Lantern books. Very nicely done. A solid read. I enjoyed it. Alright, we're moving on to Marvel. We're going to start off with All New X Factor, issue number 6. Do Not Disturb Me. That don't happen. This cover, it does not happen. But yeah, the Danger is still one of the most one of the more entertaining parts of this book. You know, she's a machine. She doesn't realize anything like tact or, you know, hey, you know something about somebody, keep it to yourself unless the situation demands that you blurt something out. She just blurts something out. You know, and it's just really, really weird, but awkward and funny at the same time. It's just really good. It's the team of the X Factor. They pick up Cypher, as you would recall. Cypher was the big cliffhanger at the end of the last issue, so they recruit him, and they're going to go talk to Magus and find out what's going on with him and Warlock, you know, and everything. And Danger makes a very big discovery in Cypher, literally in Cypher. And I'm not going to spoil what that was because it was pretty damn funny. I just love some of the dialogue in here too. You know, it's like there's almost like a love-hate relationship between the members of this team, and it's like they have some animosity toward each other, but they still work together as a team very well when the time calls for it. And it's really well written by Peter David. But when they finally get to where Magus and Warlock are, it goes in a direction where I didn't think it was going to go, but very nicely written, very nicely done, and I like the way the book ends. It was a solid read. It's not as strong as other issues of X Factor that Peter David has done in the past, but it was still a solid read. I enjoyed it. Well above average, just not perfect. So I'd still recommend this issue. I really would. And I still recommend this series. All New X Factor, number 6. Wow. All New X-Men, number 25. There is an entire grocery list of artists who worked on this book. But the main credit goes to, once again, Brian Michael Bendis. The writing in here was good. It starts off with Beast not being able to sleep, and somebody's in the shadows talking to him, saying, you know what you did. You did this, you did that, you did this, you did that. It's one of those kinds of stories where, you know, we begin with Beast talking to this person, and then we see all kinds of scenarios. Like, what would happen if Jean was never taught by Charles Xavier? What would happen if nobody was there to teach the original X-Men the basis of their powers or to help control them? Or what would happen if they did this or this or this or this that could lead the X-Men to being legendary heroes, not just among mutants, but among humankind as well? All different kinds of scenarios. And there's also some really nice little cartoony sketch comics in here. You know, there's one with Wolverine and Jean that's actually kind of cute. There's one with Kitty Pryde and Colossus in here that's just fucking funny as hell. And there's one with Scott and Logan as two old guys, and it's just But you know, it was a nice read nonetheless. I don't think this was worth $5, but when you look at all the artists that came in here, I guess it's arguable. Was this worth $5 to me? Not really, but I would understand if you would want to shell out $5 to see this, considering how many different artists worked on it. Some nice 2-page spreads, some nice 1-page spreads in here. This was basically just an art book at the most. But we get the reveal at the end of the book as to who Beast was talking to, and I'm like, oh, nice. And I'm not going to spoil it. This was a good read, but it was like, it was kind of like 70% art, 30% storytelling. It was just meant to be an art book, and it just happened to be the 25th issue. I'm like, yeah, like issue numbers mean a damn thing to Marvel nowadays. I give it less than another year, they'll probably renumber it back to number 1. Fuckers. Captain Marvel number 2. Kelly Sue DeConnick is still doing the writing on this. David Lopez, thank God we got a much better artist on this run. And it sends me to find out that this is only going to be a 6-issue miniseries. That's what it says in the solicits. This is issue 2 of 6, and that's what it said in the orders. That's what it said in the shipping and everything. My girlfriend's mother showed it to me. Yes, it's a 6-issue miniseries, according to, you know, Diamond, who ships these comics to distributors and everything. I'm fine with that. This issue, all this basically was Carol you know, trying to navigate in space. She comes across some ruthless people. It's kind of a misunderstanding, kind of not, and she comes across the Guardians of the Galaxy. And Rocket Raccoon just entertained the hell out of me. This was great. Very nicely done. And it kind of ends on a cliffhanger laughter. You know, it's like the cliffhanger is meant to be serious, but the dialogue and what's going on surrounding the cliffhanger kind of makes you chuckle a little bit. Nicely done. Yeah, it is what it is. It's a miniseries, but this was solid. I enjoyed it. For what it was, I enjoyed it. Daredevil, number 1.50. Okay. This is basically a 50th anniversary issue for Daredevil. 50 years of The Man Without Fear. This is the actual book that supposedly celebrates it. And once again, proving just how fucking greedy Marvel is. Another $5 comic book. All kinds of people on here. Mark Waid, Brian Michael Bendis. The main story concerning Matt Murdock turning 50. This is supposedly what's going to happen in San Francisco in the near future. You know, him, a 50-year-old man, he's raising a son with his wife, who's in politics. And apparently, big spoiler for Marvel, apparently Foggy survived his cancer battle, because he's alive and well in this story. Very nicely done. I think over 70% of the city, I believe is what it says, goes blind. And it's all, the mastermind behind this is the daughter of a former enemy. And when Matt sees what he has to do to help out and restore sight to the people, he makes a really big sacrifice. But he did it for the right reason, to prove that he is indeed the man without fear. You know, any other superhero probably would have been too scared to do what he did, or to do what he felt like he had to do to save all those innocent people. People he doesn't even know. And I gotta say, you know what? That takes balls to do what he did in here. And the story ended very well. The other stories, you know, with Bendis and Maleev doing the story about Matt Murdock's wife writing a letter to her son, to her child, and everything like that, that was okay. The story where Matt pretended to be his twin brother Mike Murdock, that he's really Daredevil, I could have lived without that. It was meant to be cheeky and funny, but I was just like, at it. Those other two stories, yeah, I could have lived without them. You know, this whole Matt Murdock turning 50, raising the son and everything, where it could supposedly be the future of where this series is now. And it was alright for what it was. You know, Mark Waid still does a great job with the writing, but, you know, like I always say, it is what it is. Is this worth $5? That depends on how big of a fan of Daredevil you truly are. If you're a hardcore fan, you know, gotta have everything Daredevil, then maybe, yeah, maybe you wouldn't have any problem at all adding this to your collection. Casual fan or an up-and-coming fan of Daredevil, I don't know. That's just my opinion. But for what it was a good read. Take it for what it is. It's just another cheap excuse for Marvel to get more of your money. Oh boy. Kick-Ass 3, issue number 7. What? I couldn't have put it better myself. Oh no. Just Red Mist, the motherfucker, whatever the fuck he calls himself. Big swerve. Turns out he's gonna help Hit Girl and Kick-Ass. Really? After all this shit that this kid has done to Kick-Ass and Hit Girl, he's killed their families. He's killed people that they love. He's behind the gangs. He was running the gangs that was killing people that were even remotely connected to Kick-Ass and Hit Girl. The son of a bitch, with some of his cronies, gang raped Kick-Ass's then girlfriend Katie. What the fuck is this? To all of a sudden say, oh, I decided I want to help you now. Get the fuck out of here. What kind of fucking swerve is this? What fucking logical sense does this fucking make? He just says, I'm sorry for everything I did. Of course, Hit Girl doesn't believe him. Hit Girl doesn't fucking care, and that's the character development that is still nailed on right. Hit Girl is surprised by Red Mist's babyface turn, if you will, but she still couldn't fucking care less what happens to the son of a bitch. And I'm going to go ahead and spoil it. Red Mist, he dies in this issue. Big fucking whoop. And this was, and the rest of the book was just a kind of a wink and a nod to the Adam West Batman shit. Turns out Hit Girl and Big Daddy had a hit cave that they slid down poles to. Hardy, har. How fucking old is that joke getting? This book sucked. We're going to end this with a gem. Nightcrawler, #1. You give me Nightcrawler, you give me Chris fucking Claremont, I'm there. Wow, this was good. I'm not going to hardly spoil anything in here. And I mean anything. What I will say is, Kurt is starting to catch up on what's been going on while he was gone. You know, he's informed what happened between Scott and Logan. He's been informed what's going on with the X-Men. He's been informed as to what Beast did. He brought the original X-Men to the future, to the present time, and he can't get them back. He's getting caught up on what's been going on. But there's still that lingering fear in him because of what he did to come back to life. And he runs into a familiar face from his past in here. And that's when shit starts hitting the fan. And this was just an awesome, awesome read. Not a 100% perfect beginning to a Nightcrawler series, but this was undoubtedly a great read. Very strong beginning to a new series. Usually #1 issues tend to be or a strong beginning but not really impactful. This was a strong beginning, kind of impactful because we're seeing Kurt already being caught up on what's going on. And Chris Claremont, I don't give a damn what anybody says. To me, he still got it. He still got that touch. Because when I was growing up, he was the best writer for X-Men. You know, growing up, I always called Chris Claremont Mr. X-Men because he is the most well-known. He was the most famous writer for X-Men. When you thought of X-Men, you thought of Chris Claremont or maybe Stan Lee. I mean, so many other writers have wrote X-Men stories over the years, and most of them have done good jobs. You got people like Brian Michael Bendis. You've got people like, you know, Ed Brubaker, who kind of hit or miss for me. Then you got people who like Matt Fraction, who completely fucked over the X-Men during his run. And you got Mike Carey, who bored the shit out of me with his X-Men Legacy run. But then you had people like Marjorie Liu. You had people like Joss Whedon. Yes, I said it, Joss Whedon. Then you had people like Jason Aaron. You've had people like Stan Lee, who created these characters. But when, to me, growing up, when I thought of X-Men, there was only one writer that outshined them all. And it's just opinion. But it was Chris Claremont. And it is so good. It is so refreshing to see Mr. X-Men writing a series for one of the most popular characters in the X-Men franchise in Nightcrawler. A great read. Solid read. It wasn't perfect, but I loved it. And I think you would too. I definitely recommend this. Well, that's all I got for this review, everybody. Like I said, check out my Blugoblin X channel. I'm gonna try to get caught up on some back issue reviews. I got a couple that I need to get done. And I'm gonna do some work for Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, Arkham Asylum Studio. Check that out here. If it's up it should be up by the time this video's up, in which Jennifer and I play with Ultimate Warrior action figures. Thanks for watching. Don't forget my bro, the Mount Vernon Kid. Don't forget everybody at Dark Avenger Inc. Plus, Mark and Chloe at Fast Decker Comics, my old buddies Deadpoolzilla, Brandon Hex. Thanks for watching, everybody. And until next time, I'll see y'all later. He's got the whole world in his hands.